Well, that's a heck of a way to wake up in the morning, isn't it? But good morning, folks. It is the 25th day of February. Can't believe it's almost over with. Woke up this morning to some lovely white stuff all over the ground again. It is 21 degrees, which is always a plus. We are expected to drop back down into the 0 degrees for a little while. But let's get off and running here because we have a lot to check about. In with me today, coming back for her second visit on the morning show, is one awesome lady, Sharon from the Trailer Park Homestead. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Good morning.
How are you doing out there?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. You guys get all your snow melted and all that?
We did, but now they're calling for a chance of some more this weekend.
They are. They're expecting another nice round of storms to hit the East Coast, too.
Oh, my goodness. You guys already got pounded. You don't need that crap.
Yeah, really. Well, we had 60-degree temperatures here for a little while. Now it's gone, and woke up this morning, and, of course, now we've got a little bit more snow on the ground. And I have to drive to Kentucky today, so which isn't going to help.
Oh, my goodness.
So, what have you been up to since last time we chatted?
Oh, just prepping away and doing some writing and a lot of reading and hanging out.
Now, you have your own website and Facebook page and all that, which is awesome. If you guys get a chance, get on over to our stuff and check it out. But how would everybody track you down?
If they just wanted to go to www.thetrailerparkhomesteader.com, they can find me there or on Facebook under the Trailer Park Homesteader.
Awesome. And you do definitely have some great stuff going on.
Thank you.
So, lots of stuff that we want to talk about today. And one thing that you brought up earlier, we've been trying to do this for a while now, but one thing or another interferes. So, one thing that we wanted to talk about is you had brought up how Obamacare is affecting your life.
Definitely.
Do you want to give everybody some background there?
Well, we're not big fans of it anyway. However, my husband does have some medical issues. And a couple months ago, we decided to bite the bullet and go ahead and try to sign up for the stupid stuff. Not that we wanted to, but we needed to because we don't have insurance, and his employer, because there's only a handful of employees there, they don't offer insurance. And so we went ahead and went on the website and thought we would just go ahead and try to sign up. Well, we were actually denied, which really made me upset. Yes, very upsetting.
Well, why were you denied?
Well, it didn't list anything specific. First of all, I don't know if you've went on there.
No.
That's the first time.
I've stayed as far away from it as I possibly can get.
Yes, we did too. But up until his problems, he's 41, and we were looking at getting his tonsils removed because he keeps having all kinds of problems. Well, so we went ahead and went on there. And I should mention that I do have stepdaughters, but they live with their mom, who lives very close to us anyway. But because of the agreement, between the two of them, he's supposed to take care of their medical as well.
Okay.
So we went on there, and we were signing us all up and put the girls on there. Well, on the website, they expect you to be completely honest, so I was, and the girls don't live in our home full time. Well, so then it asks you that, and so I put no, they don't live here full time. They live with their mother and all that jazz. Well, they straight up denied the girls, would not let us put them on there at all.
Well, wait, don't you have a court order stating that you have to carry insurance for them?
Yes.
So even if you're trying to get the Obamacare that's demanded of you from our government, even with a court order from another government agency, they won't allow it.
No, they would not allow it. Because the prime reason was because they do not live in our home. And what's very frustrating because he's responsible, for, I think it's like 65% of their medical. So that's why we were trying to add him on there. Well, they straight out will not let you. If the kids, don't live in your household, they straight out will not let you at all. So there was that. So it said, fine, whatever. We took them off to see if that would make a difference. Even with him and I alone, we were still denied. And according to the whole Obamacare situation, nobody's denied.
Yeah.
Yes, they are. Yeah, they are.
So why were you denied? Just you and your husband? Did it say?
It did not list a specific reason. It just said at the end of all of the information, it referred us to our local social services office to try to get coverage that way. But we don't qualify, because of his income. So it's like a
catch-22.
Exactly. Obamacare doesn't want us, and he makes too much for social services. So
well, what would happen though with the court system? Do you think, or have you gotten information? I don't know how long ago this happened, but could this be used in case the court comes back and says that you guys are going against your court order for the child support and the welfare of the daughters?
Well, that's exactly what I thought about also. Because, from time to time, they like to send you letters and say, hey, by the way, do you know you're responsible for health care for the kids? So what I did was I just saved the application, like where I tried to apply. I saved it, and I also screenshotted it where it showed that I was denied. That way later, in case something does come out of it, I have proof that I did make the attempt to try to file for it, and that they actually did deny me.
Wow. And this only hurts the kids. I mean, bottom line is, they need to be able to seek medical care when they need it.
Definitely.
That's the first time I've heard of that.
I know. And that's what I was thinking. I was like, I told him, I said, they denied us. And he's like, no, they can't deny anybody. It says it's for everybody. It's affordable. No. Once again.
I mean, to tell you to go to social services, are we actually fixing the problem that Obamacare is supposed to take care of?
Definitely not.
Yeah. Interesting.
I was very frustrated with the whole nonsense. So then, I even tried to go back in and sign us up separately.
Individually?
Right. Yeah, individually, to see if that would work.
Uh-huh.
That time it did work. If I would have completed all the, rigmarole of it all.
For both you and your husband?
Right. Separately, they would accept us, but we would each have to pay $300 a month for their insurance. Well, on one income, that's not affordable for us.
No,
so,
not at all.
Honestly, I didn't even bother.
Did it cover your husband when you said it individually? Did you add the daughters onto your husband's plan when you did him by himself?
I did try to, and it still would not accept them.
Because they don't live with you full time.
Exactly.
That's quite interesting. Well, they'll get you one way or the other, won't they?
Oh, yeah. And the thing about it is they say if you don't sign up, you get the fine. It's only small this year, but next year it's larger. And then we're kind of wondering, because this is supposedly like now federally mandated, you have to have the Obamacare unless you're exempt. How is that going to affect us? Because if we can't afford to pay that fine, or if we refuse because we made the attempt, is there imprisonment involved? Are there charges involved?
Well, debtors' prisons, I know, are coming back hot and heavy in different states. I know Ohio was talking about it. But was there, by chance, and I haven't been to the site at all. It scares the hell out of me. And I want nothing to do with it. Luckily I have insurance through my employer. But is there a human being that you can call, or is it all automated?
You can actually call and speak to them, but at that point I was so fed up and mad, I was just like, forget you then. So
yeah,
I didn't even, and we really didn't even want to have to go that route anyway, because we are, like I said, not fans of Obamacare or him or his party, but
we have to deal with it right now.
Right.
It's a fact of life. Whether we're miserable or not. But, I mean, I don't, healthcare shouldn't be a right, a God-given right. It should be, well, quite honestly, the whole system is screwed up to begin with. You know,
Oh, yeah.
do we need to have, if you take out the pharmaceutical companies and the insurance companies and all of that, you know, healthcare would be reasonably priced where you probably wouldn't have to have insurance to the degree that we have it now. The pricing, and it's just a big scam to begin with when you look at how, you know, the hospitals are charging your insurance different rates depending on if you have insurance or not.
Definitely.
Which is absurd.
Well, you know, and a couple of years back when I was still working, I did have insurance. I had actually insurance for the whole family. And that was a lot cheaper than even the Obamacare individual packages.
Yeah, the one that's supposed to be affordable for everyone.
Yes, definitely. You know, and then I hear the stories on the TV where I got the Obamacare for $70 a month. Well, how?
Yeah.
Because I don't understand it. You know, even signing us up individually, because I work from home, you know, running my site and stuff like that, you know, that there's no real income from that. So how am I supposed to pay $300 a month for Obamacare?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. For some reason, a lot of people think we make a small fortune off of our websites trying to get people educated. Yeah. That doesn't work like that.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all.
I think I know most of the preppers and survivalists and homesteaders on the internet, and I can assure you this is done out of the goodness of their hearts. Most of them anyways. I mean, there's some scammers out there that we've run into, especially here lately.
Right.
I know there's some dudes out of other countries that are just and I haven't seen them too much lately, so I don't know if they've decided to move on to like the food category or what, but most of the information out there is legit, and they're a bunch of good people with good hearts, with good intentions to help people, because they all see what's coming up.
Definitely. And you know, I don't think people realize that how much time it actually takes to write the articles and, you know, get out there and be productive and try to teach. But we all do it because, you know, I just posted something on my page last night about the grid down situation and all this stuff. And I put on there, I share because I care about you, you know, and I want to help educate you. I'm not trying to scare anybody by anything.
Yeah. And it's less people we have to shoot later on, if you want to think of it like that. But seriously, I posted a story this morning. Where did this come out of? Oh, Zero Hedge, and it's 10 stories from the cold, hard streets of America that will break your heart. And more and more and more people are losing their jobs, losing their homes, having to live out in the cold. You know, the one guy talks about he's 34 years old. While his wife goes to work, he's staying home to conserve fuel. He's started to lose weight because he wants to make sure that his kids have more food on their plates. You know, feel like government and big business expect more and more while trying to give back as little as possible. Soon his internet connection will be shut off, and most people don't accept paper applications anymore. I know my company doesn't. You have to apply online. So he's like, how will I find work? Walking around for miles a day asking for an application that may or may not be available. It goes into, you know, throwing plastic over clotheslines, sleeping in tunnels. The woman's husband makes $10 an hour and drives 30 miles round trip in a Jeep. You know what that does? You know, they stop going to church because they're trying to save gas to go to work. You can understand why more and more people just are giving up and losing hope. And it's sad to see this in our country.
Yeah. And, you know, and it's taken a toll on everyone. Everyone's noticing these, even from food and fuel prices. Yeah.
And as you've seen, the price of food is expected to skyrocket between the drought in California wreaking havoc and, you know, just certain areas of the world not being able to get their crops ready due to even volcanic ash has covered a lot of fields where we get produce from at certain times of the year. So if people aren't planting their own gardens and taking care of responsibility of getting their food supply this year, locally, you're going to get screwed. You're going to go hungry.
Definitely. You know, locally here, just in our little small town, I'm sure might be, I haven't checked, a little different in the city, like the Oklahoma City area. But here where we live, we've noticed that even hamburger has gone up to $3.70 a pound.
Oh, that's wow.
Yeah, ridiculous.
I think the last I paid for it was $5.25 a pound.
Oh my goodness. See, I just don't. How do they expect people to live, really?
Well, they don't, and they don't care, because the people that determine our fate have enough money to not have to worry about it.
Exactly.
It's those of us that, you know, work and try and take care of our families that are really getting hurt on this. But Rick in the chat room, good morning, Rick, you know, brings up a good point too, going back to Obamacare. You know, we have to be proactive all the way down the line here on this. And that means, you know, grow your own medicinal herbs, take care of yourself, get yourself physically fit, get off the crap food that you buy in the grocery store. If you walk through those doors, 90% of that food you probably shouldn't be eating to begin with, and it will make you sick. So try and avoid going to the doctor to begin with. But yeah, be proactive. Don't wait for the groceries to increase. Get a garden in the summer and start canning your own food. You know, connect and network with people in your own community. You might have something that somebody else wants and vice versa, and be able to trade up for goods, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
I know I've been following what's going on in some of the other countries around the world, Venezuela, and over in Russia. And I don't know how to say it. I don't know if it's Kiev or Cave or Kiev or whatever. But these countries are really dismantling and fast. And, you know, not so much getting into the political part of it, but reading the stories of the people trying to survive over there. You know, I think it's important for us here to understand how life changes when your government falls apart. So that way we can become, again, proactive and adjust our preps accordingly. So that way, if, heaven forbid, something like that, or when that happens here, that we can be better prepared for it. They were showing long lines of people standing at an ATM trying to get money out just to buy everyday goods. And it was just breaking my heart. And it's like, you know, but we've seen it here already. Anytime there's a storm, you know, we get people freaking out and going to the grocery store. Just trying to get some stuff to last for a couple days. You know, what, in your opinion, is it going to take for people to wake up?
I think they're going to have to actually experience something firsthand, so it's actually real to them.
I used to think that too, until this round of storms in the South. And you saw the chaos the first round that went through and people getting stranded and whatnot. And lo and behold, the second round came through. And I know there was one picture of, you know, cars being stranded and one was on fire. And it's like, they didn't learn. It's like, wake up, people.
Well, you know, it's the whole, it can never happen to me syndrome, you know. People just don't realize how much could potentially happen.
Is it because we pay attention, or is it because they live with their head in the sand and they just don't think it can happen to them? What do you think?
I think it's kind of all the above. You know, we live in such a immediate gratification society. Whatever I want, I'm going to get it because it's there and it's available. And sure, there's warnings and, you know, people are talking about things, but it never really, you know, relates to them because, you know, everything's fine now. So I think they have their head in the sand and they don't necessarily believe it's a reality.
And the government will step in to save them?
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. Because they always do.
Yeah, or the tow truck will be there. All they have to do is pick up their smartphone and give them a call.
Right.
You know, a lot of people don't realize that that person coming to save them is another human being with a family. And one of the things I try to avoid, and I know a lot of people do, is to put our rescuers in harm's way, which just causes problems too. I know I was pretty irate, and I actually wrote a blog, which is rare for me because I don't have a whole lot of spare time to do that, sit down and do it. But it just pissed me off. And it's like, people, you know what, you hate to say it, but it's like, wake up, take responsibility. There were thousands upon thousands of our children stranded on school buses in the schools overnight because you did not own up to your responsibility of raising these children.
Right.
So round 2 came and same thing happened. And the governor of Georgia the first time said, I'm sorry, I apologize. We should have been all over this. We should have been ahead of it. And it won't happen again. And it happened again. Mm-hmm. But if there's a storm coming, or I know in Oklahoma you guys deal with tornadoes all the time. Definitely. Don't send your kid to school. Right. What's the worst that's going to happen? Just call the school and say, hey, I'm not bringing my kid today. But at least they'll be safe and not stranded someplace.
Yeah, exactly. We already witnessed that last year, with the Moore tornado and how it can affect, not only a school, but the whole community, the whole state. And, when you do get those warnings, because once in a while they will come out and say, tomorrow's a high threat of tornadoes or whatever, keep your kid at home, especially since a lot of our schools around here, the only type of shelter they might have, our kids' school, for instance, has an, not underground shelter, but, it's the above ground shelter. In an F5 situation, that's not going to cut it.
No, when Moore went through and those kids, unfortunately drowned, because they were underground. But there were also reports too of parents waiting to the last minute to go pick their kids up from school, knowing that there was a tornado coming. They frantically went to the school to get their child, and the doors were locked. They couldn't get in to get their child.
Yeah. It's a scary situation.
Yeah, and I think we're so programmed sometimes to do as we're told. Send your kid to school. Don't, let the school take care of them while they're there kind of mentality. Same with our employers. I hate to go there, but, I work for a company, and we're so programmed to, no matter how bad it is, you need to go to work. That mentality needs to change, because it's putting people's lives at risk here.
Yeah, it definitely is.
And what are we going to work for? To line someone else's wallet? Mm-hmm. If I lose my life because I go to work, who's going to take care of my kids? It's not going to be my employer. Exactly. But it's sad. It's sad what's going on, and I don't anticipate it getting any better anytime soon.
No, unfortunately, I don't either. But I do think, maybe not overall, but in some degree, people are starting to realize and starting to wake up about possibilities, at least.
Yeah, but it seems to me that it's happening after the fact. And yeah. We need to get more people proactive and get them working that way now.
Yeah. But I agree with that.
Yeah. It's like, oh, wait, I just lost my job. Now I'm going to start prepping. Mm-hmm. and then they're like, well, I don't have money to prep. Now what am I going to do?
Right. And that's definitely the wrong time to go about that, because you can't. When I was laid off back in August, if we hadn't had any food provisions, we wouldn't have made it. But thankfully we went into our stockpile, and that's how we survived. Yeah. And things have gotten a lot better now, from where they were, but, it's still a constant struggle, but we maintained just fine. Had we not had that food stored up, there would have been many nights we would have had nothing, honestly.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I spent 6 months off work myself, having knee surgery, and no worries at all. And, I don't know. I just wish we could get more people, and seeing it from this side of it and anticipating what's coming ahead, and then watching, like I said, what's going on in, other people's, other countries and whatnot. It's frightening. And not only are we concerned about our own storages, our own home stores, our own props, but I have, and I'm sure a lot of us do, security issues. If people find out you have something, they're gonna, one of the sustaining facts of a riot comes down to food, basically. Not a whole lot of anything else. And when people are hungry, they do wild and crazy things, that they shouldn't be.
Yeah, they definitely do.
So have you guys in Oklahoma, in your community that you live in, have you established any kind of networking prepper group out there?
Well, actually, you asked me that last time.
I did.
Yes, and I'm working on it still. I had actually met a lady that was just a fan of the Trailer Park Homesteader page, and she happened to be a prepper. And since then, she's created her own page. Her name's Carla.
Wow.
Yeah, she created her own page and her own blog. It's called A Prepper Quick Tip. And I actually went and met with her and her family and their preppers.
Does she live out by you somewhere?
She lives probably about 40 miles away.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that wasn't too bad. And so I met with her and her family, and we actually have made plans to meet and teach her different things, and she can show me some of the things that, she knows. And then I've also been working with a few of my friends. They're first-time gardeners this year, and so I actually have 3 gardens besides my own to help get ready and plant. And then my sister-in-law, I taught her how to can, and let me tell you, she's way beyond me now. She has a whole cellar full of canned goods.
That is awesome. But once you get started with that, it's kind of like when I bought my vacuum sealer, my husband was testing it out. And I swear, he could have vacuum sealed the cat in there if I would have let him. I found a potato vacuum sealed. There was a bottle of some kind of vitamins or something he had vacuum sealed. Just odds and ends of stuff, just testing it out. It's like, right. Eddie, you need to stop.
That is too funny.
Yeah, but it's addictive. After a while, you have to calm yourself down because, you there's a fine line between that hoarder show and prepping sometimes. That people
that's so true. That is so true. I've even wrote about preppers are not hoarders, and then lately I've realized that maybe I'm incorrect.
It all comes down to organization. If you're organized, you're good. It's
right.
That's that line of complete chaos that you could be on TV. Well, I guess either way you could be on TV, depending.
Yeah. Yeah, I had I was buying cases of water, but they were jugs of water, 3 in each case, and I got to where I would not throw those jugs away because I was like, I can refill these with water, and I was going through I can fill them with rice. Yeah, about 50 jugs into it, laying around. I'm like, seriously, where the heck did I get all these jugs?
I can't say I haven't done that. Because my kids walk into the garage and they're like, Mom, there's 12 sacks of because the juice, the juice and everything I have washed out and saved the containers.
Right.
And it's like people were out there like, how can I say, it's just save the stuff. When you're going to the grocery store, look at what the container is that you're buying it is. Prepping has, it changes your entire mindset on everything you purchase sometimes.
It does, yes.
So you're looking at your juice that you would normally buy, and it's like, oh no, I like this container better. So now you're drinking a whole different kind of juice that, you don't normally drink, just because you want the container.
That is so true, oh my gosh. Yeah, so I've had to, if you want to save these jugs and do these things, just make sure you're using them. You don't have 50 under a cabinet or stuffed in a corner somewhere, because that was my problem. And then I was like, oh my God, I need to be on Hoarders or something.
Yeah. If I ever want to clean my house and fast, I usually flip on the shell. I can never make it all the way through before, I've got the mop and everything else out. Throwing stuff away.
That is so funny because I do that exact same thing.
Yeah, I don't see how anyone could sit there through an entire show without cleaning something.
Oh no. You flip that on, you're like, oh gosh, there's something I could be doing.
It is getting to be springtime. We've got about a little over a month, or less than a month, and it'll actually be spring. So I'm looking forward to taking a small vacation from work and just cleaning, because it's been a hard winter. I mean, it's just been below zero most of the time, and I've got some cobwebs and stuff that, we just need to get cleaned out in different areas and reorganized so that way we can get more preps, right?
Yeah, add to the stockpile. Why not?
So what are your plans for the upcoming year? What's your big focus?
Well, right now at this point, I'm just excited that it's potentially going to get warmer because I want a garden so bad. Because of where we live, we do live in a mobile home park. We have very limited space. And so last year when we made gardens, we could only do like pallet gardens or the 4x4 raised gardens. Well, so not this year.
They're cool with you guys putting in, the people that own the place, they're cool with you guys putting in gardens and stuff? Because I know a lot of places are against that.
Well, as long as it's a raised type garden, they don't have a problem. For whatever reason, he doesn't want you tilling up the ground, which to me is silly. I mean, I've lived here 3 years and I maintain it, but it's whatever. So,
what if you gave him some of the benefits of your garden?
That might work.
The fruits of your labor.
That might work. I have to ask him. I don't know. Maybe. But
it sounds like you have multiple gardens going on this year. So that's awesome.
Well, this year we are actually, like I said, last year could only do the 4x4 little raised garden ideas. So this year I'm going big time, 16 by 5 foot, so I can raise more stuff. But then we have a carport. So I was thinking, okay, we have such small space, but what can I do? Well, I found some trellis netting. And so it's going up along, ghetto or not, I don't care. It's going up alongside of my carport, and I'm going to, trellis some vegetables up one side of it.
Awesome.
So I'm going vertical this year.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about the ghetto part. If you have a choice between looking ghetto and feeding your family, I think that's a no-brainer.
Yeah, exactly.
But
no, I'm just excited for warmer weather. I'm sick of the cold. I know you guys have gotten the heck beaten out of you there.
Yeah, we had this was a record year for us, all-time record year of the most snowfall ever. And
that is crazy.
Yeah, we just added more to it last night, and expecting more over the weekend. So
are they thinking that's going to help with your summer as far as drought, or
we're not pretty much in a drought anymore here? California is, but we're pretty much got that taken care of. On the benefit side of it, because of the extreme cold temperatures, hopefully we see a decrease in all of those negative insects out there. So hopefully it killed a lot of mosquito larvae and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've been watching and talking to people. I know there's a couple people local here that it looks like a lot of our shrubs, our medicinal plants and things like that, elderberries, whatever, have made it through okay. So
good.
Not a lot of damage that way, which is awesome to hear. As long as, spring stays stable and we don't see the warm up, get cold again, warm up, and lose blossoms and stuff.
Right.
I think we'll pull out of it pretty good.
Good. That's my fear. Like, I'm ready to get out there and just start planting stuff. But Oklahoma, we're kind of like how you guys have been. Just wait a minute and things go right back to cold. So
yeah, we have to have patience this year, which is not one of my strong points.
Well, and last year I was so off and running with my garden too that I went out and I planted, I think it was like 18 or 20 tomato plants, and then didn't pay attention to the weather. Frost came, wiped them all out.
Oh, that sucks.
Happened twice. That happened twice to me. I was so mad too. And I was like, oh God, Sharon, you're stupid. But then finally the frost was gone and we got it going, but.
I have probably another couple months before I could even think about putting out anything outside in the garden.
Yeah.
And it's pure envy and jealousy when you see people online that are already starting to plant their gardens and stuff down south. It's like,
I saw somebody, they had, it was an outside garden too. I'm not sure where they live, but I mean, their lettuce was going. They had all types of stuff that was just growing so well. And I was like, what?
Yeah,
I'm so far behind.
It's been like 80 in Florida. If you watch the weather maps over the winter, it's like they didn't even belong to the United States.
Yeah.
The rest of us were getting the hell beat out of us, and they're down there in the sunshine. It's like, it's a wonder somebody didn't get beat up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my brother-in-law lives down around Orlando, and he was rubbing it in like, we're in the middle of a blizzard. It's 20 below zero, and which I would rather have the cold weather, just not that cold and for this long of a period of time. I've discovered, I've mouthed off over the years enough saying, oh, I love the snow, I love the cold, and it's like, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Trying to move on. Yeah.
Normally we have ice, but we don't get a lot of snow here. But this year we got a lot of, well, not compared to you, but we did get a lot of snow for being in Oklahoma. And now I'm just like, no, I'm done. I'm over it.
Yeah, I think we're all getting the itch to warm up and see the daffodils coming up through the ground and all of that kind of stuff. So, yeah, time to move on.
Yeah, definitely.
But do you plant your seeds and stuff inside before you move them outside, or you just get them straight from the nurseries?
That's what we're doing this year. Last year with our tomatoes and our peppers, we got them straight from the nursery. But this year we're going to do the seeds, non-GMO seeds, and do them inside. I actually want to buy a greenhouse kit and, get that. I've never had one, so I don't really know that much about them, but I know it's supposed to extend your growing season. So I really want to get a greenhouse kit and put that out there, and it's going to be fun times.
See, I just slapped some plastic over some PVC, over one of my beds, and it does a great job.
Hey, that's a good idea.
I probably have $70 in it, maybe tops, and that's because of the cost of the plastic over the top, and I still have extra left over because I'm going to need it, because with the ice and the snow, I've got a few holes out there. I'm going to have to reskin it here when it gets warmer outside.
Yeah. Sounds like you got a lot of projects going on yourself too.
Oh, I love it though. It's a great stress reliever.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I think all of us are itching to get outside and get things going. And I think a lot of us have been cooped up, but a lot of us understand that we need to get some plants in the ground to be able to feed our families this coming winter.
Yeah.
So in your opinion, if someone were going to start a new garden, to look at canning and stuff, give me the top 5 plants you think that would have the biggest impact on them being able to put food away.
The top 5 plants. Definitely tomatoes. That's, you can do anything with a tomato.
Yeah, that you can.
For me, I would say onions, because it goes in everything. So we got tomatoes, onions. I would say, if you're able to, maybe grow your own corn, because a lot of it that you buy is actually GMO. So if there's a way that you can buy your own, keep it safe, I would say corn. Here where I live, although I cannot. But maybe lettuce and some type of a bean. I'm up for everything. I just want to plant it all myself. Like, I'm really just ready to go.
Well, one thing that I have talked to people about, and Rick will attest to this, something to think about. If there is a downgrade situation, let's say the economy falls finally, which it's very, very unstable right now.
Yes.
And so we go to a downgrade situation. People can't get their, checking money out of the bank, and the grocery stores are pretty much cleaned out. Now we've got zombies walking around starving. And they're hungry. People are hungry. If you have a formal garden in your yard in a raised bed, are you making yourself a sitting duck for people coming to possibly do you harm?
You could possibly, yes.
So
yes.
One thing to think about is, and I've been studying up on permaculture, and taking plants and your vegetables even, and more perennial type plants like fruit trees or vegetables or not vegetables, nut trees and stuff like that, and implementing them into your landscape around your home. And this works great for HOAs that refuse to allow you to plant a garden. But you would plant these things into your landscape, so it just looks like it's part of the design. Mm-hmm. And only if unless somebody was actually looking for it, would they actually know what's going on.
I think that's a great idea.
Just something to keep in mind, and I'm not deterring you away from doing a raised bed, because I have several in my backyard. But the more and more you watch what's going on and see everything in other countries and react to it and how the people are living. They're talking about in Greece and Cyprus with the problems that they had. A lot of the people from the city moved back out to the country to help raise, move back in with their families, their parents, their grandparents that lived in the country, because they couldn't eat, because they had no food in the city. So just something I want everyone to stop and think about is, are you setting yourself up and your family to bring harm if there was a large scale downgrade situation? Could you take the plants and get them planted around your house, around your property, so it just looks like overgrown shrubbery or something? Mm-hmm. So, that's
a good idea.
Yeah. It will make it less obvious that you have a garden, because if you think about a crowd of people coming down a road looking for food, and, you're a sitting duck if they see a garden in your backyard.
Mm-hmm. And that's one of my husband's concerns too. We could actually have really much larger gardens where we live, like on the other side, for instance, of our house. But that's one of his concerns, is neighbors or others coming in actually stealing, the vegetables. So where we have it set up to be is like kind of an out of the way place, but we have our dogs there, and so one of them's pretty vicious, and he'll alert us, if somebody's out there. But if I had it my way, I'd probably do it like all around our whole area here and have tons of everything. But that's how he's thinking, security minded and things like that.
It's too bad they wouldn't let you put in a community garden too. Do you think that would take the heat off of just yours?
Yeah, I think it would. I think that's an excellent idea. Over in the city where my mother-in-law lives, they did, like, across the way, they had a big field, and it was like soccer fields. And now they've tilled it up, and they're going to make something else out of it. But when I was going by there the other day, I was thinking, man, that would make such a great community garden, because it's such a large space, and so many people could benefit. But in our little community where we are, I wish we could have one. I mean, I seriously do, because it would help so many people.
Yeah. And unfortunately, you see it in the news all the time where it's illegal to plant a garden. Whether it's on public property. I know there's several that are being destroyed because people were planting legitimately. Were they planting on property they owned? Not necessarily. I know there's a movement that's going to happen here in Indianapolis over the next couple years, where they're going to take down, in certain parts of Indianapolis, like every third house is boarded up. Mm-hmm. It is not conducive to human life. And the amount, I think, when was it, last week, within a 12-hour time span, we had 8 people murdered. Oh my every day you wake up and someone has been killed, and it's just getting outrageous. And I've talked to the detectives here, and they have no idea what's going on, and it's just all over the city. So it's not any one specific spot or location that you would expect it in.
Right.
And they're just overwhelmed. They don't know where to turn or what to do first, because it's just getting out of hand. But there is a program here. They're going to start taking down these boarded up homes and start putting in community gardens, which I think is awesome.
That is great.
Yeah, it is. It is hugely awesome. But there are communities out there that do quite the opposite. You live in an HOA. It's a big issue when you disrupt the landscape in order to plant food. and cities too. I know there's a woman in Florida that I've been following who's trying to live off grid. Is she doing it the legitimate way? I can understand some concerns, especially when it comes to how she's removing waste from her property, but she's not hooked up to the electrical power. Or the water. She uses a catchment system to replenish her water supply. And the city has kicked her and condemned her house and kicked her out, which I think is wrong.
That is horrible.
Yeah. So there was a ruling here just a couple days ago concerning her. But, educate yourselves out there listening and learn what's going on in other communities so you can adjust accordingly.
Right. I definitely agree.
But, so, besides the garden coming up, you got any, new cool toys or anything lately in the prepping world?
Well, I just got some throwing knives the other day that I want to learn how to use.
Well, that's interesting.
I've been wanting them, and I finally got some. It's just a little starter set. Just kind of learn how to throw those, You never know what could happen. Bullets might not be available, so...
Very true.
Think outside the box.
Your backups to your backups.
Yeah. So I've been doing that, and we're fixing to... Well, my husband, if I can get him to finish it or actually start it, he's fixing to do some remodeling and repainting and everything like that.
Making you more storage?
Yes. Then... I was contacted, actually, I don't know if I had mentioned it to you before, but by a show, who asked me to be on the show, a new documentary coming out, or docu-series as they call it, about people that live off the grid. And when I explained that, no, I don't live actually off the grid, I'm just living towards a self-sustainable life, they said, no, not off the power grid, just basically off the grid as in you're trying to be more self-sufficient. Yeah. Right. And so I've been talking to them and considering that possibility. They're wanting to come out next month and film. So
you are a brave woman.
I know. It's crazy. I thought long and hard about it and talked to my husband and some family about it and, some of the people in the preparedness group and what they thought about it and if it would be a good idea. Because I don't want it to turn into, oh, look at these nutty doomsday prepper type people.
Yeah, we have enough of those shows on right now.
Right. So.
Yeah, and I think that's where a lot of us, I think that's one of the pushbacks a lot of people give us when it comes to preparedness that you bring up is, when we're talking about going off grid, is it that we're losing, electricity and we're going to live in the dark by candles and things like that? No. That's not what we're talking about here. We're trying to get cut off from the matrix, from the banking system to be self-sustaining so that way we don't have someone else dictating our life to us.
Exactly, yeah. So, I don't know. They're supposed to come out from California next month. Well,
cool. Keep us updated on that. Hopefully, and I'll use that term broadly. They do what they say they're going to do.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. That's one of my fears. I just don't want it to be some kind of spoof or put a spin on how we live. We're just normal people. I think, just trying to be prepared. Yeah. And that's what I kept telling the producer when I talked to him. I said, we're normal people. We're not nutty doomsday prepper people. So don't come here expecting that. You're not going to get it.
Yeah. That other show seems to be able to have the market wrapped up on all the nuts.
Yeah, for sure.
I did see where the one guy from, I think he was in Washington, that talked about how he wasn't going to prepare so much. He was just going to take it from the rest of us that do prepare.
Oh my gosh.
He got arrested finally.
Yeah. Hilarious.
Yeah. It's like, hello, you're on national TV talking like this. Do you think something might not happen?
Yeah, because he was a felon and shooting guns on the show.
Yeah.
Genius.
Yeah, those kind of preppers we can definitely do without. The rest of us, that are out here trying to help other people, those are the genuine people.
Right, yeah.
The sad thing is you just don't know anymore.
Yeah. And once in a while on that show, because I do watch that show, but I think at first when it started, it was a lot of craziness and like really nutty type of people, I would say. Lately, a couple of the episodes anyway, I wouldn't say all of them, I've noticed some really good ideas on there. And I was like, oh, I would have never thought of that.
Like what?
So, like there was one guy recently, within the last couple of weeks that I noticed. He took apart a big screen TV and he took the magnifying lens out of it and he made like a solar oven. He could cook with it, but he could also purify water with it.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, wow, but it gets really hot. It's like 1,200 degrees, so you have to be careful where you focus, the heat at.
Yeah, catch your house on fire while you're doing it.
Right. So it took him some time, and he put it on one of those, some kind of, you actually had one posted on your page. It like moves with the sun.
Uh-huh.
That thing. Okay, he put it on like a wooden stand that actually moves with the sun so he could continue to cook all day or distill water or whatever, fire starting or whatever he needed to do. And we were looking at that. We're like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I might have to go back and check that one out.
Yeah, it was a pretty neat episode. So once in a while I do see things on there that I'm like, wow, I would never have thought of that, but some things, making your own drone. Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, we've had a few people from the show that have been on over the years and on our show talking about how dictated it is. I know with the show with the gallows and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, one of the guys from that show was on ours and we were talking and he goes, yeah, he goes, we were just standing around bullshitting about it and just, throwing stuff out there and we were just completely joking. And the producers came up and handed him some cash and say, hey, here, go buy what you need and let's get this thing built. And that's what they did. And that was the show. Totally taken out of context and just totally pimped out just for ratings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's one of my concerns with this, the Sportsman channel coming here, because I just don't want them to try to, because you have no control over the editing, the marketing, you have nothing. It's not paid, nothing like that. They just come film you for a day and whatever they get, they put out there however they want. So that is a big concern for us.
Yeah. Well, you can only do what you can do. And those of us that know you and love you, know the truth. So we'll stick up for you and, make sure that the truth does get out there.
Oh, thanks.
Well, you have good stuff. You're good folks, and, we need more people like you.
Thank you. I agree. You too. You're a great teacher.
It's the alcohol. I
that,
say that 6 minutes till 9 o'clock in the morning.
Speaking of that, I did make some moonshine.
Did you?
Just saying.
Straight up, or did you add some apple pie stuff in it?
I was legal and did the whole Everclear thing.
Uh-huh.
But it's still really good.
I have yet to make, what's that stuff that you girls talk about, the dragon piss? Moonshine?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to try that one, but I am getting ready to redo my stock of, and a lot of people don't realize, it's easy to make your own vanilla. Homemade vanilla. Mm-hmm. So I'm getting ready to redo my stock, and now's the time to get ready for Christmas for next year and all your holiday baking. And Thanksgiving is to get your extracts going now, and they'll be nice and strong and vibrant by the time you get into your fall baking. So, and it's very simple to do. Very simple to do. We'll post some links up on the page and whatnot, but
I believe I've read that. I just haven't tried that yet. But yeah, it seems so simple.
Yeah, you just get some alcohol and throw your vanilla beans in there after you split them. And you can continue to use the same jar of vanilla for years. I know some woman that still had the same container with the same beans and stuff in it 15 years later. She would add beans if she needed to or more alcohol as she used it. But it gets so strong and intense at that point. It's fantastic. It would knock the stuff that you buy, the crap that you buy in the store, just off the shelves. It is unbelievable.
See, and that part I didn't know. That's neat.
So easy to do. Just be very careful when you do any kind of medicinal extracts or anything like that, or with the vanilla. You would think that the stronger the alcohol, the better, whereas you want to try and get between a 40-60 ratio. Mm-hmm. It does weird things if you get stronger. Besides, get inebriated.
Hey now.
That's for the After Dark show, which you're going to have to come on. You're going to have to come on that show sometime and play some Conflicted with us.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
We have Mr. Funky from Boiler Room Radio, who happens to be on the same network that we are, is going to be joining us tonight, so it should be a good show.
I'm going to have to listen.
Yeah, we've got Deck 2 out.
I know, I saw that. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I still think the boys were telling me something, because when I read the card that has my name on it, it talked about, some female in your group was off her medication. And she was causing havoc in your prepping group because she was mentally unstable. It's like, what are you guys trying to say to me?
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, exactly. Subliminal hints here or what?
I think so.
Awesome. Now, before we get off here, where can people find you at? Your websites, Facebook?
They can go to www.thetrailerparkhomesteader.com, The Trailer Park Homesteader on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, or Sprecher, or even YouTube.
Thank you, dear, for being on the show this morning.
Thank you. I had a great time.
Yeah, you're going to have to come back more often. I love chatting with you.
Right on.
You have lots of great information. I'm waiting for the theme song to kick in because it just, it's instantaneous. There's like no warning to it. And it's and it's hard rock. So it's like, it wakes you up.
Oh yeah. I noticed that this morning. I was jamming.
It's like, hello. But it's a good song. Jules did a great job getting us all transformed over to it.
Yeah.
So Jules is one kick-ass woman who runs the radio station here.
She's the one on the show after you, right?
Yes. She'll be on before the first cup, starting in approximately 60 seconds.
You guys stick around and listen to it.
Yeah.
It's a good show, too.
Stuff. And she was on vacation, so I don't know if she's back now. She should be back now, talking about her adventures.
Well, that's going to be fun then.
Yeah. And stay in the chat room, hang around for a while. And we'll be giving away some free decks tonight. And